Hi, everybody.
Got the switch up.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is the podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor. This week, we're back. We are so back. No more of this
is back.
So true. No more of this traitor schmaters. We are fully committed to our Survivor bit, and we are back with Survivor, y'all. Survivor 48 is premiering this next week. This is going up this weekend, right?
Yeah.
This upcoming week, we're so excited. We're going to do a cast assessment, y'all. This is a double feature. If you're watching this and you missed our traitors coverage from this week, we recap 2 episodes. So go ahead and go watch. It's kind of a triple feature if you think about it. Go back and watch, and then come back here and watch this, because we're about to discuss the Survivor 48 cast. But before we go to
never do that again.
before we go too in depth, what is going on in the background right now?
If you missed it, he's been playing with his Kong, and then he accidentally knocked it off the bed, and was like, "Is someone gonna get that for me?" And it wasn't gonna be me.
Before we get too deep into the episode, Maddie, I have to ask how you are.
How am I? I am so good. I feel like I talked about my major update in our last episode, but in case you aren't watching Traitors coverage, I have moved. So this is the new setting.
So true. If you're just going from Survivor season to Survivor season.
Yeah, if you haven't seen us in a while, yeah, I literally just moved. So this is our new house. I'm in my new little setup. Stay tuned for some decorations back there. Trust and believe I will do it this time. But really what I'm most excited about are my plans for the rest of the day. So immediately after finishing this, I'm going to Costco to get gas and chocolate covered gummy bears and some cleaning supplies and a Costco piece of pizza. And then later tonight, I'm going bowling. So
love that. Who are you going bowling with?
Logan and some friends.
Love that.
So it's just going to be a fun day. Friday is my favorite day of the week. And it's even better because I get to spend so much time with you today.
Oh, I know we haven't talked to each other in a while.
I know.
Maddie's been a busy girl.
Yeah, and we're really bad about not talking to each other when we aren't recording the podcast.
It's so true.
But anyways, that's how I'm doing. Riley, how are you?
I'm doing so amazing. Thank you so much for asking. I wanted to talk about yesterday morning when I woke up. Guys, I woke up. First of all, I woke up this morning early. I've been waking up early the past couple days, not on purpose, just like my sleep schedule. I've been sleeping with an eye mask on. And tell me why. It's been doing wonders for me.
I was going to say, can you speak on that? Because I've been thinking about getting one.
Oh, love it. I have had this eye mask for a while, and I got it my sophomore year of college. So I was sleeping with it for a little bit, and I stopped. But then recently, the past like 2 weeks, I've been using it, and I really have been obsessed with it. I feel like it's been helping. I like it. I got mine at Old Navy on clearance, I think. So I don't even know if they sell them anymore. I don't know if I haven't been in one in a while, so I don't know. But I feel great. I've been waking up early though. This week, the tennis tournament that I was watching this week, because everybody knows I'm obsessed with tennis now. There was 2 Masters tournaments going on, and they're both in the Middle East, which means it's not far enough. Like when the Australian Open was going on, it was kind of perfect enough for our time, I guess my time, that I could catch a lot of the matches during the end of my day. But the Middle East time zone is kind of at the worst possible time for me.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that because when the World Cup was there,
yeah,
I was like, oh cool, I can't watch any of the games.
No, so they're kind of at the worst time for me, and I don't know what's going. I've been watching tennis for about a month now, and whatever. I prefer women's tennis because I like something about seeing men get like. I'm like, oh God, you're kind of giving me the yourself. No, literally. I also, there's like people that make compilations on YouTube of like tennis moments. Low-key live for the drama ones where they show like the players having arguments with each other. And then I was watching a lot of women's ones, and I was like, I should balance this out. Watch some men's ones. Watch the men's ones. I'm like, ooh, something about a man being like upset about something, like acting like a toddler is just like makes me feel gross. Anyway. Oh, I haven't been watching tennis this week because it's so and all of my faves got out early in both tournaments, both the men's and the women's. So then I was like, oh, I'm like maybe I should just take this week, and I go to bed early because I've kind of been staying up late the past couple weeks. So going to bed early, waking up early. Yesterday I went ahead and woke up and I was like, what is that smell? Smells of, one might say, burning plastic. And I sort of laid in bed with my eye mask for a little bit, and I came to the conclusion, oh, my mom must have burned something upstairs. Because my room is kind of sort of under the kitchen, and so a lot of the times I can smell what's being cooked. And I was like, I bet you something was being burnt. Ugh. And then it just, like, the smell was not going away.
You're like, that's got to be someone else's problem.
Right.
And they've got to be on top of it.
Right. And so I go out into the main little our basement area. Maddie knows what I'm talking about. And I sort of don't smell anything. And I'm like, well, maybe it's just coming from upstairs to downstairs and like missed the basement. So then I go upstairs and sort of don't smell anything either. And I was like, let me ask my mom. So I go to my mom's room and say, hey, Mom, did you burn something this morning? And she said, no, I did not. And I was like, well, it kind of smells like burning plastic in my bedroom. And she was like, that's not good. And I was like, yeah. So then she came down and helped me investigate. And we could not figure out where the smell was coming from. And I had to leave for work soon. And I was like, it's probably not a great idea to sort of leave my room with it smelling like burning plastic. And she was like, yeah, I would agree. So before I left for work, I went ahead and unplugged everything. And my mom had an appointment later in the afternoon. So she said, you know what, I'll come back in an hour or two, come back and smell and see if there's a smell. And she said, no more smell, when she left. And I was like, interesting. So when I got home, I slowly started plugging things back in. And I was not getting any smell. I like started, well, first, so I've been walking, and I thought my walking pad maybe, because I don't know.
That was my first thought.
Well, because I walked for like 4 miles straight. And like, I could imagine, I'm a heavier person. I could imagine it maybe overheating potentially. So I was like, oh, maybe that's it. And it wasn't it. I used it and it didn't smell like it was burning. And then I plugged my TV in and it was fine. And then I went over and I plugged like my lamp and this fan in. And then I came over here, plugged my desk in. I was like, So the last thing I had to plug in last night was my phone charger. And then I have a fan. I had 2 fans pointing at me. And I had a fan right here. Spoiler alert, it's no longer there. You guys can't see it, but Maddie can see sort of where I'm gesturing. I went to sort of turn that fan on, and maybe after like 5 minutes realized, because I had that fan blowing, so I didn't even necessarily realize that that fan wasn't actively blowing air on me. And then I went, oh, this fan isn't working. And I went, oh, it smells really strong of smoke. Sort of realized that my fan was broken, and it smelled of smoke because the fan wasn't spinning. It was just like the motor in it was running. It was not like letting any of the energy go. So potentially could have burned my whole house down, could have exploded, who knows. But I'm a survivor and I lived on.
I'm so
no longer
happy.
smells like smoke.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of great.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Wasn't that really sorry.
Well, like, I'm glad it was just the fan. And
I
not
know.
something
I was
else
kind
that you
of because sometimes like sockets catch on fire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that would be kind of bad, everybody. Like, where would I record the podcast?
And that would be priority number 1.
Oh my god, when I look like this, it doesn't look like I have eyebrows.
I feel like I still see your eyebrows. Wow. I'm glad you're still here today.
I know that was a really exciting story for everybody, so I'm glad that I was able to take you all on that journey with me. I kind of was struggling. I had a sort of a big one last episode, and then I was like, oh, what am I going to do this episode?
Yeah.
So, let's get into this episode recap. If this is y'all's first season, we have covered 3 full seasons of the new era, plus a past season of Survivor. And now, I guess, basically a full season of The Traitors.
We're basically experts.
Really, at this point. If this is your first time joining us, you have past examples. I did go ahead and I went and watched our 47 one last night. I was so tan. Ugh.
You were.
Summer was too good. Summer was too good, y'all. So that's unfortunate for me right now. I'm not as tan. And what was I saying? Oh, if you've never, sorry, y'all, this is like hour 3 of us recording. I'm all over the place. We if you've never watched one of these before, what we usually do, we don't interact with the cast at all before doing our cast assessment. Maddie and I have not watched any. Well, tried our best because for like a week there, it was crazy. Everybody was posting about it. We avoid TikToks, we avoid YouTube videos, we avoid interviews, we don't read anything. We just wait until basically as last minute as we possibly can to make our first impressions on them. And so they're our own first impressions on the cast. We read the same article. We read Entertainment Weekly's article, and go down that list. So if you want to follow along, you can follow along that way. Maddie and I are going to go in order of how they're listed. We're going to give our thoughts on these people, let you guys know who these people are. And then at the end of the episode, we'll pick our winner picks.
Yeah. And Riley gets to pick first.
So true. This is my first season. Maddie got the first, I guess, 2 people. She won the first 2 times. I won last time. We each pick one person. Sorry about that, y'all.
This man behind me.
Barking dogs are nothing new on this podcast. We pick one person from the cast as our winner pick, and whichever person's player makes it the furthest wins is how we do it. So last season I picked Genevieve and you picked Kashan.
I did pick Keyshawn.
So
Gone too soon, for real.
it's gone too soon, but I was glad Genevieve stayed. So
Me too.
great. Let's just get into it. Before I do have a general sort of overview. I know this is not a political. We're not a political podcast, but I would say Maddie and I are political individuals, and I do just have to say, thank God for the DEI initiative
Yes.
of CBS, and I hope Paramount and CBS keeps this initiative because the content in the characters and the players that we've got the past 8 seasons, I guess the past 7 seasons, have been amazing.
Yeah.
It is so refreshing. We were just talking about Love is Blind. I know there's a lot of controversy going on right now about the Love is Blind casting for the current season that's airing.
Every man looks the same.
It's just refreshing to see a cast full of diversity. Can it be more diverse? Yes, but I take what I can get. Is it the bare minimum? Yes, but you know what? Some people aren't even doing the bare minimum right now. So we are going to enjoy what we have. And I just have to say that I'm in love with it and I'm so happy about it. And I hope they keep it.
Thank you for starting off with that.
Of course. First
And
on our
if you
entertainment.
disagree with that statement, go ahead and click off. This isn't for you. This podcast is not for you.
Speak, Valentina. Ally, yes. Ally of the month over here. Work. Okay.
Oh my god.
Let's get into this cast.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Also,
start
I
with.
want to say,
Yes, of course.
anything we say is based purely on their answers
Okay.
to this.
Yes.
Because I, in particular, think that I struggle sometimes with being negative in this.
Right.
And maybe making fun of them a little bit too much.
Right.
But it is not serious. It has nothing to do with who they actually are. And so often, it's funny to look back on how wrong we were.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they might be a completely different person than the answers that they give to these basic questions.
I know, and they could be just so different. Flashback to when last season I picked Genevieve as my winner pick, and I picked it, and Maddie and I both after that pick were like, why did I do that? And we were like left confused. And then Genevieve ended up being one of the main characters of the season.
Yeah.
Shockingly. So take this all with a grain of salt. Like I said, we have not interacted. This is literally, we both did this. I did mine yesterday. Did you do
I
yours
did
yesterday?
mine this morning.
So we, less than 24 hours, have interacted with this cast. No,
Yeah.
nothing. Some of these people could be controversial. We don't know. Okay?
Yeah.
So take it all with a grain of salt. We don't know these people. We don't know what they sound like. That's also a fun game we like to play. See who guess who might have like a thick accent.
Yeah. I did note that on a couple.
So let's get into it.
Let's.
We're gonna start with Stephanie Berger.
Yeah.
38. She's from New York. Currently lives in Brooklyn. Formerly lived in New Orleans. She won't let you forget about it.
She won't.
She was a teacher in America, part of a Teach for America. I don't know. Do you know much about Teach for America?
I don't know anything about Teach for America.
I'm gonna hope. You know what? I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna hope it's a good thing. It sounds like it does good things. I hope the people that. I don't.
I feel like anyone who teaches middle school, you're strong.
Right, right,
You
right,
are one
right.
of God's strongest warriors.
Right. She is a ambitious, outgoing, and resilient. Loves the first couple people here. We get a lot of quantitative. There's been fewer than, well, she says 700, and then I think Sean next is less than 800. But
Yeah.
a lot of quantitatively putting it, like fewer than 700 people have been in this game. A really interesting way to put yourself in it. She says she wants to play like Natalie Anderson, which I love, and Jam Jam. She likes Mardi Gras. I think my big thing, her pet peeve.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that first one.
Oh,
Down.
love the first one down.
You agree with her?
Yeah, I hate a QR code in a restaurant.
I like when there's the option.
I hate when there's not an option.
I don't know if I've ever, like, other than
There's
maybe a sort of walk-up place.
multiple restaurants in a major city we live next to that I frequent a lot have restaurants where it's just QR codes and it's just scan right here,
Oh.
scan right here. I'm like, baby, we're in the middle of the city. I have no service. My phone's gonna take forever to load.
Oh.
Give me a paper menu.
I like having the
I will
option
say,
because
I
I
don't-
often gravitate toward the QR code.
Right, and if there's an option, I don't mind. But if I'm being told the only option is a QR code, don't piss
Yeah.
me off.
Because I get annoyed at some establishments when there's like one drink menu and everyone gets to look at it, and I'm like, well, I'm in a group of 6 people,
Right.
so
See,
I don't get a chance to
yeah.
actually make an educated decision.
And I don't ever look at a drink menu, so that says a lot about you. Her dress is giving very Mamma Mia.
Yes,
Very
the
green.
The hair's going. into
No,
that.
I didn't even realize the hair. She's giving Mamma Mia. What's the main character of Mamma Mia?
Oh, I honestly don't know. I've only seen that movie once.
Amanda.
That's her real name.
Is it really?
Yeah, Amanda Seyfried.
Hey Siri. Who is the main character in Mamma Mia? Sophie.
Sophie.
Oh my god. Sophie is the main character in Mamma Mia, but then it shows a picture of the DJ Sophie who passed away a couple years ago. So that's interesting. She's giving Greek. She's giving QR codes in restaurants so real. That's what I wrote. You can disagree to disagree. Yeah. How do you feel about Stephanie?
I said, okay, she made a comment about the T in royalty, and I said, ew, don't say
Wrote
it
that
again.
down as well. I was like, please, let's not.
I said she seems very serious and not like silly funny to me, which I don't always gravitate toward.
Right.
And I also put that I wish that she was actually from New Orleans because I do wish she had a southern accent.
Right.
But maybe she'll probably have a New York, Brooklyn one.
Maybe. She's from New York City, but she currently lives in Brooklyn.
Those were
This is something Maddie and I, the past 4 times, this is the 4th time we've done it. Every time, the way that they do the way that they abbreviate the hometowns, like places they live.
so dumb.
Specifically, we'll get there with Miss South Side of Chicago. What's her name?
Yeah.
Chrissy. When it says she's from South Side of Chicago, Illinois, I'm like, is South Side of Chicago a city?
I think that's like,
The place in the city.
yeah.
It's just interesting. This is something we always come back to. Like California on Sean's is abbreviated with 5 letters.
we got it.
You could have stopped at CA, baby. You didn't actually do CALIF. So
Yeah.
interesting. I agree with you. There are a couple of people here that I was like, I feel like I'm getting very serious energy from you.
Yeah, I mean, she specifically says, like, you can only armchair quarterback for so long as when you're watching a challenge before you realize you need to shut up and play. I was like, oh, I'm sad.
I'm a. I like her part where she talks about how working with kids has taught her that the importance of strong relationships, because I do ultimately think that's what a lot of it comes down to. Unless
I
you're
agree.
Maria and Charlie, oftentimes it does come down to the strength of your relationship. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, should we move on?
Of course.
Okay, next we have Unclear on how to pronounce the name. We tried to look it up, and the person in that video also did not know how to pronounce his name. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Sean.
I think it's Sean.
Sean. Sean, who is from East Bay, Calif, and currently resides in Costa Mesa, California.
As one does.
He's a debate professor, and I want to get into that a little bit because I am so intimidated by debate people. I went to approximately one debate club meeting in college and was like, I'm actually not interested in this. You are all really intense. And like, I'm scared you're going to fight me on anything. But I think that would be really interesting.
I almost just said something so out of pocket.
Say it. You have to.
You'll fight you on something about like doing the dishes, how to do them properly. Was it a deep pull?
No. Yeah, that was. But you know what's crazy is my mind was also right there along with it.
Right.
So, anyways, some lore. But yeah, I think that I'm excited to see how he talks with people and like problem solves with people being speech and debate, because it's sort of like you're right. You have to be right at the core of it, or like at least have a good argument. He does say he wants to play like Penner.
I liked that. Do you know who Penner is? You see a lot of
Yes.
Penner's game?
Yes. I'll have questions about further people's answers.
Sure.
But yeah, new era version of Penner.
I liked that.
Yeah. He also likes non-contact sports, which I thought was funny. He's too fragile for that. He likes podcasts. Maybe he's a listener.
Maybe. One of our 10.
Right. And yeah, he just seems nice. He says he's persuadable, open-minded, emotionally intelligent, socially savvy. And I'm excited to see him play. He seems nice.
One thing that I did not understand. Well, there's a couple things I didn't understand. First of all, in his pet peeve section, he says folks who miss the forest for the trees. Is that like a metaphor that I'm not getting?
Also confused about that. Well, then it says
Inability to see the big picture, lack of appreciation. Which I'm guessing is all the same thing, but I've never heard folks who miss the forest for the trees.
because I think that's valid to miss the forest for the trees.
Right. But I do think it's getting at something else that I'm having, that I can use my context clues. Inability to see the big picture, lack of appreciation.
But I haven't heard that.
I've never heard that phrase before, and that's sort of my problem with that. Number one. Number two, what is a debate professor? Do I see debate coach? Yes. Is he a professor? Does he teach like linguist? Does he teach like theater?
I feel like debate. I feel like that might
Like
be a class.
debate? Is it a okay?
I think maybe it could be.
I guess. I think it's interesting. He says he coaches a forensics team. Now, did you know forensics means debate and like communications and stuff like that?
No.
I found out some lore about me. I'm not going to get into this actually. Sorry. Something from college that I learned about forensics. It was just things that I probably should not be talking about, but like monetary things. So there was somebody worked for the department that I graduated from, and oversaw multiple departments: communications, African American studies, and then forensics. Mm-hmm. And we all in the office thought forensics was like science. Come to find out, forensic was actually a debate thing. And I was like, I didn't even know our school offered that. As like so maybe it is like a class or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know forensics encapsulated. No. When you hear forensics, I think like biology and like crime.
Criminology.
Exactly. Intro to policing. One of my favorite things to do in the podcast is to reference moments of Maddie and I talking prior to recording. I do, and it's, you know what? I can understand as a viewer that'd be really annoying, but to me, it's too funny.
It's so it works too perfectly sometimes.
It does.
Like it's a joke that you can't not make.
Right. But that's all I have to say. I think he seems like he'd be a fun character. I get a vibe that people are going to like him.
Yeah.
Anything else on him?
No.
Let's move on to Eva Eric's son. Eva.
That's so interesting. I feel like I say Ava.
Eve. I think Ava is AVA.
I think it kind of just depends on the person.
Well, I'm going hard on the Eva. I'm saying 10 toes down on Eva.
Diva,
Eva.
Eva.
Eva's 24, old as fuck. She's from Egan, Min, and currently lives in Providence, RI.
I need that person fired immediately.
Why are you abbreviating Minnesota in 4 letters, but then you're doing Rhode Island in 2? Don't piss me off. This is who I have the biggest beef with, is whoever runs this department at the Entertainment Weekly. Egan, Min, Providence, RI. Don't piss me off anymore. She's a PhD candidate, and she has autism. I believe she is the first person to come on the show diagnosed with autism and like announcing it in her intro package. I believe that might be a fact. She plays
to me.
to me.
Wait, I know if I say that, it's gonna make you. It's a button I just put.
Where's that from? To me. I said it's from Dance Moms. I said, get your finger out of my face. Is that from? Did I make that up? Is to me part of that?
I don't know.
To me. I don't know if that's from Dance Moms. I don't think that's from that argument. I don't know where that's from. I'll sit and think about that while we're doing this. I'll get back to you. She has autism, you guys. She plays men's hockey. She is the only.
Awesome.
I love that for her. She is the first and only girl to play men's hockey at Georgia Tech. Currently, the captain at the men's club team in Brown University. I don't know how I feel. The big question I'm leaving with this. She is a PhD candidate. I don't know how I feel about grad students sort of doing undergrad things. Is this a club hockey team open to the whole campus, or have you sort of like put yourself in this space?
That's a good question. Is it? Oh, I guess it's just a club.
It's a club sport.
No,
but
now I see what you're saying.
Like at our institution, you have I worked in student government, so I am very familiar. There are grad students, like at our school, the T was grad students don't pay. You know how we would pay money every year towards the student government?
Yeah.
Grad students didn't have a student government fee, but they still got to use the student government resources.
Oh.
Right. So part of my student government feeling is I'm like, girl, are you just inserting yourself in these spaces? But I'm sure Brown University is a big university. I'm sure they got a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah.
That was my problem. She wants to be like Denise or Lindsay, which are fine. Yeah. Denise in Philippines, yes. Denise at Wonders at War, I'm going to need you to take a step back. She wants loyalty. She doesn't like wet socks. I was really interested. I hope on the show we'll get to hear what her PhD was about, because she didn't go into much detail about it. I love hearing what people are studying. Mm-hmm. So I'll be interested to see more about that. Like Jessie from 43. Jessie from 43 did his PhD on like voting practices. Mm-hmm. And so that was like a thing in the season. He was like, I study voting. And that's what this game is about.
I wrote my capstone paper on that.
I wrote mine on racism in American politics. So, what does it say here? Anyways, yeah. Well, how do you feel about Eva, or as you might say, Ava?
I feel good about her. Her bio leaves me asking questions that I hope get answered. Yeah, I just think it's cool that she plays hockey, specifically men's hockey. Do you think she has all her teeth? Is the real question.
Oh, we better be getting a scene. She puts her flipper out. We might need to, low key, because Jane got a mention, and we'll get there in a second. We might need to rewatch Survivor Nicaragua this summer.
I'm down. I watched that one live.
I it's such a controversial. That is one of my biggest Survivor hot take, that season is so good. It is one of the most hated seasons by the public, but I love that season. I'm sorry. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she's gonna be very.
I'm
She's
always,
giving. You go.
okay, I'm always excited when people say that they're a big physical threat to see if that's actually what happens in the challenges. Because I feel like it happens a lot where they're like, I'm big, I'm strong, I'm going to be so good at challenges, that's what I'm looking forward to. And then they sort of don't perform well.
Right. I do think she's gonna be a hard worker. She just gives hard worker energy from the thing she says. So I'm interested to see if it all works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Kyle Fraser, a 31-year-old from Roanoke, VA, who currently resides in Brooklyn, NY.
BK is getting a lot of representation this so far.
I wanted to say that there's a lot of East Coast people in general.
East Coast people. Also interesting, I noticed this because like 3 of the first 4 people, I really don't think is anymore. But at this point, when I was doing my cast assessment, I was like, oh my god, we have so many teachers.
Yeah.
The next person is a teacher as well. So the 4 of the first 5 people, I was like, this is a crazy coincidence, I feel like. Or has teaching experience, I should say.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, his current occupation is an attorney. He, does a lot of cool stuff. Sorry. Oh, I have a question about these people, but we'll get there.
Okay.
So, he, really interesting, taught a GED in History Humanities course at a juvenile detention center. I think that's a really cool thing of him to do.
Yeah.
And to just be able to connect with people and like talking about how they were obviously going through a really traumatic event and finding ways to like help them, learn. Education is so important. I thought that was really cool and he seems fun. Question, who is Davy and Jay? Who are Davy and Jay?
Davy was on David versus Goliath. Jay was on Millennials versus Gen X. Both made it pretty far into their seasons. Davy, I do think, is most known for being himself on his season. And post Survivor, he's one of the people who's spoken up the most on in like 2020, spoke a lot about the diversity initiative, making Survivor more diverse. He's done a lot of work in that direction. Fun fact, Davey was rumored to be on Traitors season 3, on one of the early people to be rumored. I think the rumor was he was on the season, and then the rumor was that he was a backup in case somebody dropped. But we could have had another Survivor rep, which is interesting. Jay, Millennials versus Gen X, his storyline, at the beginning of the season, he's kind of like a little bit of a villain. He gets Michaela out, who's played Survivor 2 times. A huge blindside. Michaela's most famous like reaction, she turns and looks at Jake and she's like, "What? Did you do that?" And Jay's like, "Yeah, I did it." Really good. Jay has this really important scene because like his mom died. He has a scene with Adam who ends up winning that season. They're both good players. I think they both have really good showings on Survivor. Both only one-time players, but I think it's a good people to reference. Jay currently is on a challenge run. He's been playing the challenge a lot, so very interesting.
Well, yeah. What's this guy's name? Kyle. He just seems super nice, successful in being an attorney, and I don't know. I just feel like he's gonna do really well with connecting with people.
Yeah.
And one thing that I thought was interesting, and he says that like in Survivor, it's your actions inside of this society are like what matters and what happens to you, which I think is true to an extent, but I also think a lot of times you can just be it cannot be your fault, or like it cannot be at all something you did.
Right.
So just to push back on that a little.
He says in an alliance partner, he's looking for somebody who has an open-minded willingness to play the game with intention, which I think is good. People that can go with the flow with what's happening. But still he wants to have fun, which I think is that gives to me very Rachel last season. Like, yes. Ability to move with what's happening, but ultimately you're having a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Like, live with the once-in-a-lifetime experience, Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch is from Waco, Texas. Currently lives in Waco, Texas. He is 34. He's a PE coach, not a PE teacher. Don't get it confused. He is a PE coach. He is he has a speech impediment.
Yeah.
And when I first read that first one, I said, "What type?" Just to find out on the next one, it's a stutter. So he has a stutter, and that's sort of a lot of his talking. Oh my god, girl, I disappeared. A lot. My camera did not like me talking about the speech impediment, y'all. He has a stutter, and that sort of seems to be a big talking point about his life experience, and goes into his conversation about what's going to go on in the season. He did go ahead and list Spencer, Joe, and Cochran as people he'd most likely to play with, which I was like, please pick a struggle. That is a crazy list of people, specifically Joe in this day and age, in this political climate.
Right.
That is wild, but you do you, boo, whatever you think works best, I guess. I don't know. I feel like he's likable. I like him being a first-generation college student graduating from Texas A&M. That's a hard school to graduate from, and I'm sure as a first-gen student as well, that was really good. Seems athletic.
Yeah, but
I feel like
he's
he'll
into running.
Right, and that is usually a red flag for us at the Making Fire pod. Long distance running specifically. If you're like, "Ugh, I like to go on a run every now and then," I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but it's specifically like running
20-mile
that.
trail race, Ironman. Well, Ironman, that's crazy. You got to be fit to do that. That's a whole
Flashback to when I used to volunteer at an ultra marathon, a 200-mile race. But the one my family and I used to do, this is years ago. We would go into the middle of the woods, and because they would run on like a mountain,
Yeah.
and we were mile marker like 112
Oh my god.
out of 200.
That just does not sound fun.
No, it's not. I watched all those people come back in. I'm like, I literally like, what are you doing with your life? Anyway, I think he'll be likable. I feel like people will like him. He's a good age. I think he'll do fine.
Yeah.
There's something like I'm not like
I
you're
think-
gonna win the season, but I'm like you seem like people will like being around you.
Yeah, I think my one thing is that I think I would be a pet peeve to him because I unfortunately do like to be right. Sometimes I am bad about interrupting, and sometimes I just like to complain and be a little bit negative. And I don't think that hurts
Right.
anyone.
Right.
Welcome back.
As Vanessa Hudgens said, people are
We're
gonna
dying.
die. Like, I hate to say it, but
So that's how I feel.
yeah.
Should we move on?
Of course.
Okay, we have Cy, who is a 30-year-old from Philadelphia, PA, and currently lives in Simi Valley, Calif. Yes.
Can I just say first, there was only one person that ate up these cast photos. And I hate to say this on Sai because it's not about Sai specifically. It's really about everybody we've seen at all the. I'm like, what happened to fun outfits?
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing the same thing. She's wearing a tan shirt and denim shorts.
I do like her shorts though. I've been
They
searching
do
for a
look.
pair for this summer.
They look good on her. It's a good length. But
Yeah.
I'm like, a t-shirt, babe. Why don't we do like a fun little floral or? Everybody just looks so plain this season. Like, I feel like last season we had some fun patterns. We had fun, like, we had scarecrow pants.
Oh, I forgot about Scarecrow Band.
Anyway,
Well, Cy is a marketing professional who wants to be on Survivor because representation matters, which love. And she. Can I say something mean? Not
Yeah.
mean, not mean. It's just like insensitive.
say it. Speak your truth.
Okay, well, when she said the passing of her grandmother, first thing that came to my mind. Johnny Fairplay, whose grandmother actually did just die.
Yes. I don't think that's insensitive. That is, yeah.
Like, just in Survivor lore.
You're
Like,
connecting
when you
it to
start off
pop-
by
yes.
saying the passing of my grandmother, I'm gonna
It's
say
like the first thing you think of is Johnny Fairplay.
yes.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
You're just gonna
Anyways.
get canceled, but whatever.
She wants to play like Marianne and Drea.
I know you hate hate Marianne.
There's a lot of Marianne shout outs.
And I knew that pissed you off.
I love that has become like the one running joke. Like one of.
I was gonna say, I feel like we have a few.
We have a few.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in an alliance partner, she wants trust, someone who's observant and has their fingers on the pulse. Really cool. She studied abroad in Argentina and had a dream job at NBC post college, winning an award. How cool. Also, Nala in Off-Broadway Lion King.
I said, come through Off-Broadway representation.
She said, don't get too excited. Well, I'm excited. I need to know more about this. And good social skills. So
have you seen The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, I loved that show. It's very 2016. Like, it's very of its late 2010s moment. But there's a joke in that show about Lion King off Broadway. Anyway.
Also, I wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah, of course.
How do you pronounce the word Salmon?
Well, we're from the Pacific. Oh. Well, we're from the Pacific Northwest. I feel like we have. We're from the Pacific Northwest, so we know how to pronounce it correctly. Salmon.
Salmon.
No L.
No, and I'm
salmon.
I've never heard someone say it with an L. Have you?
But is salmon? I have heard people say it like that.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So when I saw pronounce the word salmon correctly, I was like, "What are you talking? Who's pronouncing this wrong?"
And you know what's gonna piss me off is if she gets on that show and says salmon, and she thinks that's the right way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
That will grind my gears.
That's how I feel about Sai. What are your thoughts?
I liked her. There's a lot of people who are here for representation, which I live for. I like wanting to be authentically herself. I didn't get a lot from her bio. I was like, she seems nice. Like, I feel like she'll get along with people. And I'm excited for her to be on the season. I had no real negative thoughts, but I didn't have anything overly again, like with Mitch, I wasn't like, oh, you are going to be a character or you are going to be a winner this season. I was just like, I feel like you'll be fun on the season.
I agree. Can I say one thing really quick?
Yeah.
I just noticed we are about 43 minutes in and we are on person 6.
No. How are we really 43? Oh my God, you guys. This happens. I literally think this happens every time we do this.
So okay. We'll just need to pick it up.
We'll pick it up. Moving on to Joe Hunter.
Right.
He's 45, Vacaville, Calf, and now he lives in West Sacramento, Calf, specifically West Sacramento, not Sacramento. He's a fire captain. His sort of through line in his interview is that unfortunately and sadly, his sister died by domestic violence, and that seems to be a very big pinpoint in his story, like his inspiration. His sister had been telling him to apply and he never did, and this is sort of like in memory of her, this getting to do this experience, which I think is really sweet.
I agree. That, and he's a dad.
Right, and that usually happens with men around his age who are fathers. We sort of get that's sort of their brand, is that they're fathers. He wants an alliance partner that is normal. He does not want somebody crazy, but I feel like at this day and age in Survivor, that is a little hard to come by, so we'll just have to see how that works out for you, Joe. I do have a problem with these pet peeves. He lists rude people, selfish people, mean people, people who tailgate, cut you. Like, okay, the first 3, rude people, selfish people, mean people. Those aren't pet peeves. That's just like
a person.
Like, that's not a pet peeve. Who likes rude people?
Right. I think
a pet peeve is people who tailgate / cut you off while driving. That's a pet peeve.
That's a pet peeve. Something specific.
Bad hugs. Okay. People who don't make good eye contact. Okay.
Yeah.
Rude people, selfish people. And that seemed to be, there's a couple people here where I'm like, you're just naming bad things, like things that are bad.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some good pet peeves. Anyway. Yeah, he seems chill. It's always nice to have like a good dad character on the season. We'll see how he does. I don't feel like dads usually do amazing.
So, moving on, we have Camilla, who's a Canadian who currently lives...
I am in love with Camilla! I love her!
Why is that guy good?
What does he say? What's the line? You will never have the... I'm losing it. I'm gonna
Thank
look
you.
that up. You keep talking.
Okay. 31-year-old from Canada, currently lives in California, is a software engineer, and she's always wanted to play Survivor, growing up watching it, wants to play a fun game, rep brown girls well, and also talks a lot about representation, which I love. And I thought it was interesting, her life experience that is has prepared her for the game is, you know what, rejection is redirection. Every time you fail, guess what, turn, what's the new thing? And that's sort of what her story has been. She identifies the most with Marianne, of course. She wants to play a dominant game like Tony, period. um
Girl, not too much.
but she thinks she'll end up playing like Erica. And she wants someone with a sense of humor as her alliance partner, and that would also be so important to me. I always say, I don't think I could be friends with someone that isn't funny. That is the most important thing to me.
I could be.
Huh? Anyways, I just really wanted to resonate with her pet peeve. I hate when people say hello or hey, what's up? Can I ask you a question? Why are you texting me?
Is my mother.
The point.
Somebody had to say it. Don't it? I know. I mean, my family's not watching this, but I know some friends are probably listening to this. Somebody out there who knows me is listening to this. Do not. If you just text me hello or can I ask you a question, you will not be getting an answer from me, motherfucker. Text me the whole damn thing. Oh, she got me right here. I read that and I said, this is a pet peeve. This is a pet peeve. Take notes.
So right for it. She played on a women's semi-professional Valorant team, video game team.
That guy is good.
And she's inspired by her parents, and she seems cool. I really like her.
Everything you said basically like were standouts to me. I liked her part about she's used to failing and pivoting. I think that's so important in Survivor, like knowing to pivot. But yeah, I had notes on the same things. She seems to understand who she is. The Valorant got me. That was good. She's Canadian. And the pet peeve got me. Can I read something to you real quick?
Yeah.
Camilla is who I want. That is where my loyalties lie. That is who my priority is. Morning, noon, and night I care about her. And if you hurt her, you hurt me. That was kind of good, was it not?
That was good. That's the one that I think of. Morning, noon, and
night. The one is who I see.
Loyalties lie. I need to put that in.
That is what I see. That when I see on TikTok or whatever, that is what I get. Camilla is who I want. That is where my loyalties lie. Like, that is crazy. This is who my priority is.
That is where my loyalties lie. I need to like clock that in because I think that would be so. Like, that's a good funny bit.
And could you believe that was in the Challengers, the movie Challengers? That scene we're referencing to. Anyway, sorry for a mid episode performance from everybody. Let's move on.
Yeah, please.
David, our stunt performer. First of all, this man looks ripped as fuck.
It definitely looks like he doesn't skip arm day.
Definitely not. Maybe a little bit on the legs. We'll see. He is 39, lives in Long Beach, Calf. Now he currently lives from Long Beach, Calf. Currently lives in Buena Park, Calf, and he's a stunt performer. I'm very interested about this, and I've famously in the past said I don't care about people's jobs. Mm-hmm. I low-key am a little bit more interested to hear about being a stunt performer. I'm like, I kind of want you to go a little bit in depth on that.
Well, that's the thing. If you have a cool job that I don't know people who have,
like a pet cremator.
Right.
I'd love Sammy to come on. Right.
Like the casino games.
Right.
I want to hear about
Jelinski.
That. Yes. Vegas.
Like, tell me a little bit about that. David's interesting. I wrote that he's giving a bit, very much Ben energy from Survivor 46 is what I was getting from this from this interview right here. But then I sort of got to it. It says he hasn't seen every season. And of the seasons he's seen, he compares himself to Jonathan Young. That sort of took me out of the fantasy a little bit. I was like, don't love that.
But I also love that he hasn't seen all the seasons.
Right.
I don't want every player to be a diehard fan.
And sometimes the people who haven't seen all the seasons are the ones that surprise you.
Yeah.
He says that, what does he want in an alliance partner? Kindness. Girl, get off of my TV now. I'm not playing games with you this season, David. Get off my TV now. That was, yeah, he's another person I was just like, huh. What is Notting Hill? Is it a rom-com?
I don't know. Let me look.
Y'all, we are of a certain generation. I'm 23. As some people might not think that.
Oh, Julia Roberts is the star.
Oh, is it a rom-com?
Probably. Yes, comedy romance.
Look at
1999.
that. Okay, favorite movie,
Oh,
Notting
it's on
Hill.
Netflix.
We are going to do a Patreon exclusive review and react to Notting Hill, everybody. So get ready for that.
I can't wait.
Do you have any thoughts on David?
No, I just want to learn more about being a stunt guy.
Yeah.
Did you watch Only Murders in the Building?
I have not.
Get back to me on that.
Okay.
Well, next we have Thomas. Thomas is a 34-year-old from the Woodlands, Texas. Currently lives in Los Angeles, Calif. Oh,
Love that.
he's a music executive, which was giving Ben to me.
Right.
He encourages people to chase their dreams, so it's time for him to do it. That's why he wants to be on the show. He said that his friend and him describe working. They say they work in a viper pit. What does that mean?
I don't know. Like a pit of snakes?
Right? Moving on. He wants someone in an alliance partner that is honest, but can also be a shield and more of a threat than he is, which we see that happen. He loves the Real Housewives. I'm desperate.
I was going to ask you, which ones do you think
franchises?
I mean, he lives in California. Do you think he'll watch Beverly Hills?
Beverly
Orange
Hills.
County?
Yeah.
OC.
I don't know.
Wait, is it Orange County? Orange County one and Beverly Hills is another?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I have not gotten into this. I'm currently
You're working your way from...
I'm
yeah.
going through New York at the moment.
Right.
So, he's really into sports. He has a husband, Michael. And he also says that he plans on hoodwinking people. Should we call the authorities?
What the hell does that mean? What is a hoodwink? To like
Hoodwink, deaf,
lie to people?
deceive,
trick
or
people?
trick.
I ate that up. That was my interesting. I don't know where he went to college, so I don't really understand the point of losing to UCLA. Like, I don't know what that rivalry is. Love that he wants to play like Sophie Clark.
Yeah.
Love Sophie Clark. That's mother right there. Pre-season 40, she was my favorite winner, and then everybody got on the train after season 40. They're like, oh my god, this girl's amazing. I was like, right. Don't start with me. Love Sophie Clark. Love that. He seems sweet. Like, I feel like he's gonna be a person that people just like gravitate towards. He just seems like a nice person.
He does.
This is an older cast.
A lot of mid-30s.
Right. Which I know that's not old, but in the lens of Survivor, I feel like that being a consistent age group is interesting.
Yeah.
Are you ready to move on to
But
Kevin?
there's not any like old people this season.
No.
They said let's take an average.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah.
Let's move on to Kevin. Ooh, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. He's 34. Wait, is that a SpongeBob quote? Hi, Kevin.
Oh.
Were you a SpongeBob watcher?
Yes, I was. I don't
That's a SpongeBob quote. Who
Yeah, I
from
think-
SpongeBob is named Kevin? Hi, Kevin. He's the glasses. He's the jellyfish guy.
Yes.
Him and Patrick are like obsessed with him.
Yes.
Hi, Kevin. That was me.
But you also do
Kevin.
hi people.
Hi, people.
Where does that come from?
That's Shawn Mendes, baby.
Huh?
That's Shawn
Oh,
Mendes.
Shawn Mendes, right.
Hi, people. Kevin is from Fremont, Calif. He lives in Livermore, Calif. Finance manager. He was inspired by Yul Kwan, which I love. Got me together. He used to be an Abercrombie. Y'all, I grew up saying it wrong, and my parents never corrected me, and now I'm well into adulthood and don't know how to say it. I always put an M in there. Abercrombie.
You
I remember
know what's
having
funny?
this. What?
So when I read it, I was like, who do I know that pronounces this Abercrombie?
It's me,
And it's
diva.
you.
I know it's wrong, and I try to correct it, but in my head, I don't know why I've always put an M in there. And then nobody really started correcting me until adult. I think you were one of the first people to be like, "That's not right." And I was like, "What do you mean it's not right? That's what it's called." And you're like, "No, there's no M. Abercrombie." And I'm like, "Ambercrombie."
Oh my God. I think we were together when we were reading about all the stuff about the like former owner guy.
We were watching that documentary before
Right.
before the Circle finale is what we were watching.
Oh
Oh,
my.
do you hear the dogs barking?
Yeah, but it's not.
Okay. Yeah, we were watching, and we watched the Circle finale. I think that was the same night. The Circle finale came out that night, and then Survivor 42's finale was also that night.
Yes, I was like, we were at your parents' house.
To watch the finale of Survivor 42,
Yes.
and then famously, where Romeo won final immunity, and that gagged, and then your
Yes.
least favorite person to ever play Survivor won that night.
Oh my God. What a day. Full
He
circle.
really he worked at Abercrombie and Fitch as a model. That was too good to me.
You
I
said that's my
I said, that's my winner pick right there. That's my man, my man, my man. He wants to play like the Davids. He liked David versus Goliath. I think that's a good season. He wanted to play like Caleb from Survivor 45. I said, oh my God.
He was made for you.
He was made for me, you guys. Like,
They
you
ca-
don't get it.
They casted him for you specifically.
For me. They said, if we're going to cast an Asian, we're not casting Riley. We're just going to cast an Asian that he will be attracted to. And I said, you know what? Thank you so much, ZBS. Love that for me. He will... he wants to look at all options. He wants people to be flexible. Oh my God, his favorite hobby is tennis.
No, he is for.
He is for
It gets even
me.
crazier. It gets even crazier. Keep reading.
Barry's Bootcamp escape rooms. What was the? Oh my! I didn't even read that part. I read that and I was like, what's left? He volunteered at an orphanage in Ghana.
Out of anywhere in the world.
Y'all, I studied abroad in Ghana. I totally missed that part. No, because Kevin and I are meant to be with each other. I'm sorry. Kevin, hit me up. I also have gone to Ghana. I worked at a school too. I worked with children while in Ghana.
No, it's crazy.
Y'all. Maybe Kevin's a straight version of me. Is Kevin straight? I think he is.
That's my next question. That was my immediate thought.
I said we're too similar. I said there's no way this man can be straight. There's no way this man can be straight. He likes his parents. And he wants to win the million. Good for him.
That is just you in every single answer.
Right. This is me if I was actually as old as people thought I was. And liked women probably. I don't know.
Those are my
Do you have any-
closing. I don't have any more thoughts. Oh,
Slay.
but I am curious. What is Barry's boot camp?
Shall I look it up while you start the next person?
Sure. Okay. Next we have Cedric McFadden.
I think it's Cedric would be my
Cedric?
guess.
I've
Yes.
always. Okay, we'll go with Cedric. 45-year-old from Columbia, SC. Currently lives in Greenville, SC. Is a surgeon. Also, I just want to say, I don't mean this to be mean, but that sounds like a fake name.
Cedric
Cedric
McFadden.
That just does not feel real to me. But he's been watching Survivor since 2000, before we were born. He feels like completing a 5-year residency has best prepared him for the game, which, yeah, that would be crazy. Who is Earl Cole that he wants to play like?
Earl won Survivor Fiji, and was almost the first unanimous winner in the sense that he got all the votes at the end, and he only received one vote during the whole season against him. That one vote was a throwaway vote, so a lot of people, like, under technicality, he wasn't the first, but a lot of people hold him to that standard because the person that voted for him didn't do it, like, they meant to do it, but not because they wanted him out, they just didn't want to vote for the other person, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
very
Earl played a
traitors.
really he played a really good social game. I think that's what he's most known for. Great strategy. He kept his alliance together. Probably one of the best winners he has been rumored to be on basically every single returnee season that's happened since his original season. He's been cut like 3 times due to like personal stuff, like his wife had a baby before he was going to go on a season. He had to decline one season due to work. But yeah, Earl's a great winner, and of course, we all know Suri.
Of course.
Barry's boot camp is similar to an Orange Theory, or like it's like
Oh,
a place where you can go to do workout classes. It looks like,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, basically he talks a lot about medical school. He likes running, he likes puzzles, and his biggest inspiration is his grandma. And he says that his whole life has prepared him to play this game and win this game. Also, he just like gives Keyshawn down. The like
he
nerdy puzzle stuff, being a
right.
surgeon, like the timeliness, everything. I was like, maybe all doctors kind of, or like all people in that field, sort of would have similar answers. In a lot of ways, you are all sort of nerds at heart.
Right.
But it did make me laugh.
Yeah, I liked him. Again, another person that I was just like, I don't have any negative feelings. I don't have any overly like. I'm just like, you seem cool.
Hmm.
I feel like he's gonna be the puzzle guy this season. Like he talks so much about how he loves doing puzzles, and if I remember correctly, Rachel was also big on talking about puzzles in her pregame thing.
Mm.
And she ended up being basically the puzzle queen of Survivor 47. So
Yeah.
excited for him. Um, Charity.
Do we think she is gay and or Mormon?
Maddie. My first no, okay, so I couldn't remember why I wrote flight attendant, but are you gay and Mormon? And then I thought, why? But I looked at my notes under her name and I saw gay first, and I was like, is she lesbian? And then I was confused because I was like, I don't remember getting that vibe. And then you said that, and I remembered she's a flight attendant. Charity is 34. She's a flight attendant from Monroe, Mich. Currently lives in St. Petersburg, Fla. I think Florida of the abbreviations is the worst one.
Because why not give them an FLO?
That's what I'm saying. FLA makes no sense. Florida. She's a flight attendant. Word is still out as if she is gay or a flight attendant. Word is still out.
Regardless, that is a tough occupation these days.
The Making Fire podcast stands with the victims of all flight related tragedies that have happened in the last month or so.
That was not me making a joke. That was me stating a fact.
It's stating a fact. It is a rough job. I saw a TikTok last night. It was a little joke TikTok. And it was like, girls, sitting in the exit row is no longer for the leg room. If you're in the exit row, you need to be in the game.
You need to be willing and able.
Willing and able. Verbal, yes.
Take your headphones off.
Watch them. I need all eyes. Me on my flight in April going to my Beyonce concert. I'm gonna stand up like I did on that plane to New York. Stand up. That sounded out of context. That sounds crazy. I'm gonna stand up like I did on the plane to New York. Look behind me and say, "All eyes on the flight attendant now." We're not playing around. This plane is going to land on the ground.
And you know what? I don't know what it is. I'm to be completely honest, not always the most chill flyer. I have gotten better though.
Yes.
However, physically, I have to pay attention to the
every
lesson
time.
every single time. I'm giving them the eye contact that no one else is. And you know what? While we're at it, put your phone on airplane mode. Is it really that hard?
Right.
Can you not be away from your Facebook for 2 hours?
Right. Read a book.
Don't PMO.
Do not PMO. Ooh. That is a pet peeve. People who don't turn their planes on airplane mode.
It's so right.
That is a pet peeve.
I think you're a bad person if you can't be off your internet for that long. Oh my god. I need to calm down.
Anyway, let's talk about Charity. Let's talk about Charity. I also would be interested to know what airline she works for, because that will really shift things around for me.
Yeah.
And how well she's gonna play the game. What
airline do you think is better? Now I need to...
If you're a Spirit airliner, like if she works for Spirit, oh girl, I know she's about to throw down in this game.
Or Southwest, where there's no assigned seats.
Right.
That's a free for all.
If you work for Delta, you got it too easy. Too easy on Delta. If you work for Delta, I just
How about Frontier?
famously T Bird, who played on Survivor Africa, is a Delta flight attendant. I don't know what flight. I don't know what airline Todd worked for, but T Bird works for Delta. I don't know how old. I think she's in her 60s now. I think she still works for them, but she posts her. Anyway, sorry. I love T Bird. Get her back on Survivor. Charity said that she wants to work like Tony and Jane, and the only Jane that I can remember is Jane from Survivor Nicaragua, which is such an weird and interesting poll. Jane was the oldest woman on that cast, a cast that was divided by age. You had the old tribe and the young tribe. I think she was the oldest woman. She famously, she has a thick Southern accent, and no bullshit. One of my favorite episodes of Survivor. Well, if we're gonna watch it, I don't want to. Oh, because you watched it live. You know who wins that season?
Yeah.
She famously, her episode, when she goes home, she did a lot of the upkeep at camp, and she said, by God, I started this fire, I can put it out, and puts the fire out, dumps water on it as they're leaving for camp, or as they're leaving for tribal. It's so good. Jane is crazy, insane. She there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff with Jane, but I'm not gonna go into that. This is the only Jane I can remember, so I'm like, what a weird poll. And like Tony and Jane, I don't know, but that was interesting. I don't know why that's gonna go ahead and be my dog outside. I'm gonna go ahead and text my mom about that real quick.
Do you want me to know?
Oh, this is why I said that. I wrote the note. She didn't say I couldn't sing. And I said, and then I couldn't remember why I wrote that, and wrote, what is something you would never know from looking at you? Your girl can sing.
I said, I'm sorry, but people saying they can sing gives me the biggest ick. Like, let me come to the conclusion on my own. Let me be the judge of if you can sing.
Right.
Don't tell me you can sing.
Don't tell me that. Yeah, her thing was really short, so there wasn't much there. I think we sort of pulled what we could out of that one. So, excited for Charity. She's really pretty.
I want to know how tall she is.
That's what I'm also.
Really tall.
Very interested in that. She's gorgeous.
She is.
Excited for her to be on the season.
I also love her tattoos, her little jumpsuit, and the slick back.
Right,
and she's
right. Right.
Oh, she does live in Florida. Okay, anyways, let's move on to Justin, a 29-year-old from Winthrop, Mass, who currently lives there. Love to know about his profession. He's a pizzeria manager.
Okay, before you get too into this, girl, this interview threw me around. The way that every time a new section, I learned something crazy new about him. Like, he's had like 3 different jobs, careers, it seems like. I'm like, what am I getting from this? Anyway.
So, he's been a longtime fan of Survivor.
Of course.
He works at his family's restaurant, Luigi's. Big fan of Luigi's around here.
Right.
And yeah, he wants to play like Tyson. He wants an alliance partner that he can bounce ideas off, and hobbies, horse racing.
I say you should connect with Tiffany about that. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's gambling undertones is what I'll say.
Yes. His pet peeves are not reusing or recycling, pants without pockets. Tell that to every woman's pants manufacturer. And get back to me.
Right.
And interesting, youngest state legislative aide in the history of the Massachusetts State House. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I guess he was a teenager. That's interesting. I don't know of any of them in the places that I've worked that don't have college degrees or are not about to graduate with a college degree. So I'd love to learn more about Massachusetts State House. And he's a vegetarian. I was like, oh, I wonder if we're gonna have another Kyle situation where he ends up eating meat. That was crazy. And yeah, he's beaten cancer 3 separate times. Oh wait, nope, just kidding. His mom did.
I was like, I don't.
Anyways, what do you know about?
I just was thinking like everything. It was just something new every single time. I was
I
like,
love that.
first cut off by the pizzeria manager, and then I was like, Luigi's caught me off guard, and then being a Survivor fan, and Tyson, and horse racing, and recycling, and legislation. I was like, oh my god, vegetarian. Um, just a
Why
lot
did
going
you say that
on.
like Katya?
Vegetarian or just the
Yeah,
whole thing?
like most of what you said, but like the vegetarian really stood
I
out.
don't know. I don't know.
Anyways,
I'm just like you. You're just like me. We should get her on the pod. I'll reach out.
okay.
But yeah, he seems fun. I'm a lot going on. I'm sure he can connect with a lot of people about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
He couldn't iron out his pants before the photo though. That is one thing that for sure did happen.
Did not happen. Oh,
He sort of pulled them out of his
wait.
luggage.
He's about to
Oh,
fall
big
off the
stretch. Big stretch. Oh, down you go. Okay. Bianca Ross, y'all. She
bed.
is from
Roses.
what did I say?
Ross.
Bianca Ross. I don't think I said that. She
Definitely
is
did.
from West Orange, North Virginia, and currently lives in Arlington, Va. Um,
Wait.
New Jersey. Did I wait? Did I say North Virginia? Did I say North Virginia?
We have Bianca Ross.
North Virginia? Is that what I said? Damn. Y'all, we're hitting over hour 4 right now, y'all. We are getting it together. Okay. PR consultant. She started her own PR company. Her parents don't understand what she does for work. She wants to play like all the women winners.
Yeah,
She says she wants to work based on vibes.
that's real.
She wrote a lot, and I don't know if it was me rushing through these interviews last night or not, but I was like, I'm just not.
I have 2 comments.
Of course,
1, need an Italian accent on her.
love that.
2, she went to roller coaster camp.
What
I
does that imply?
need to know more information.
I need sort of a circle where we talk about owning a pizzeria, being a stunt double, and going to roller coaster camp. I sort of need that conversation.
Yeah, she said it's adrenaline junkie behavior. And she also calls her grandparents her no and her nana. So there's
Love
gotta be
that.
an Italian accent.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Slay.
Okay. Next, we have Chrissy, who is 55 from the south side of Chicago, and currently lives there. She's a fire lieutenant, and which is so cool. Shout out to the firemen. She really likes Carolyn, which I love when people like Carolyn. She wants to be herself, except lie a little.
Right.
Love, please. I'm begging you to lie a little. She is just looking for people to connect with, and she talks a lot about her background. She grew up very poor, dropped out of high school, and then worked hard, is a single mom, and now she was a firefighter paramedic, and now lieutenant/nurse. So shout out.
I like her. I like us having more blue collar women. I think that's always fun and always fun representation to have on Survivor. I think she's gonna be down to earth. That's the energy I get. I think she'll be a fun confessionalist. I think she'll be a fun character. I'm excited for Chrissy. I think it'll be fun to have her on this season.
And she's like the
Hopefully-
oldest person on the cast.
Right. And I hope she gives a little less. I hope she doesn't give Sue.
Right.
Like, I hope it's a little less Sue and a little bit more Elaine from Island of the Idols, or maybe Jane from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Star.
Yes.
Star is 28. They're from Monrovia, Liberia, and currently live in Augusta, Ga.
I'm really curious about the accent there. Because I can't imagine. Well, I don't know that I know what a Liberian accent is, but then mixed
Hmm.
with a little bit of Georgia.
She's only 28. I wonder when it will depend on when she came to the
Moved.
United States,
Right.
really. Because if she came when she was like 18, the accent there could still be a Liberian accent there.
Yeah.
My dad came to the United States when he was 18, and he doesn't not really have accent much anymore. So it really depends. My dad is not from Liberia though; he is from the Philippines. So a little different, but anyway, yeah, my dad is not from Liberia. He's from the Philippines. He a star is a sales expert. She says that she's hilarious, smooth, laugh out loud, funny. Wants to play like a mix of Marianne and Sandra, which really gets my attention. I love the idea of mixing these two players together. Love that. Wants to be goofy but serious. I know how to handle business while also having a good time. I like that.
Mhm.
Pet peeves, Beyonce haters, so me coded. But then you kind of round that out. You say Harry Potter haters, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
I really like. She's playing for her son, which I love. She's wanting to make a legacy,
Yeah.
which I live for. I love the idea of that, a survivor legacy. The only other thing that was really sort of a turnoff for me was that she says that things people wouldn't know by looking at her is that she's really shy and an introvert.
Yeah.
Which I think going into the game of Survivor is not necessarily something I'm gravitating towards
Right.
for a player. But I'm excited for her. You have any thoughts on Star?
I just want to say, even though they are all unique names, I kind of love the theme of her name being Star and her son being named Silver Mars.
Love.
That's kind of fun.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's all
It's
my
it's a
thoughts.
legacy.
It is. Are we rounding out to your favorite cast picture?
Oh, of course.
Finally, we have Mary, who's a 31-year-old from Montgomery Village, MD.
Mm.
Currently lives in Philadelphia, PA. She is a substance abuse counselor who's in the Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, done so many cool things.
Hmm.
Volunteered at a crisis hotline for years. Like, she is awesome. Like, that is really hard work. And she identifies the most with Ben because he was relentless. Huh?
That's sort of my turn off right there.
Oh, yeah.
Girl, why you had me along, and then you went ahead and said you wanted to play like Ben. I said she is securing her spot as production's favorite for Survivor 50 with that with saying that.
Yeah, she in an alliance partner wants someone that can shut off emotions, and she just, I don't know, she seems cool. Her pet peeves are slow drivers in the left lane, food that you pay for that sucks, and
So real.
yeah, she's a bundle of contradictions, is what she describes herself as.
Which doesn't really make me feel confident as a Survivor player, but I feel like she'll be a fun personality. I mean, this cast picture is so cute. This little crocheted dress,
Obsessed. Her little bangs.
so obsessed with her.
Me too.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready to pick?
yes. Let's pick a winner pick. Do you know who you're gonna pick?
Yes, and I have a backup.
Okay, I have to. Okay, since I get to pick 1st, do we want to say it at the same time like we've done in the past, or do I pick first and then you pick?
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I'm just going through two. I have one girl and one boy, and I
Me
don't
too.
know. I don't know who I prefer. I don't like. I kind of am leaning towards the girl, but I'm also like, what are the odds a woman is gonna win for the 4th time in a row? Like, that seems improbable to me. I know that's not how Survivor
Riley
winners
betting
are
against
picked.
women.
Yeah. Okay. Um. But I feel I might go. Okay, wait. Let me just do one last check real quick. Oh, she's not as young as I thought she was gonna be, which makes it harder for me to pick. Oh, they're gonna go ahead and be the same age. That's great. I think. Okay, I think I know who I'm gonna pick. I think I know who I'm
Do
gonna pick.
it.
I'm gonna pick Kyle.
Okay. Okay,
Um,
yeah.
I'm gonna pick Kyle. I like well, Genevieve was an attorney, so I'm just gravitating back towards an attorney.
Hmm.
I like that he's seemingly done different things. I liked that he's taught. I like that he's now doing law. I like the picks he has for people he'd like to play most like. Um, he seems to have a good life experience. I also liked his ability have an open mind and a willingness to work with people, which I think is really important in this day of age. And Survivor. So I don't know if this is a wild off pick again. We'll have to see. But I'm gonna pick Kyle as my
Okay.
winner pick. Before you pick? Do you want to hear who my girl was?
Yeah.
My girl was Camilla.
That was my girl pick.
Yeah.
But she's not who I'm picking.
Okay.
Guys, I gotta go with Kevin.
You're gonna go with Kevin?
I'm putting zero game thought into this, and I only want to manifest that he is on our screens as long as possible for everyone's sake, but specifically Riley's.
Love that. Thank you so much. I think that's a good pick. My top two were Kyle and Camilla. I think I just don't. I feel in my heart Camilla is going to do better, but I just don't like the odds that a woman is going to win for the fourth time in a row. I just think are so small. But women have just been doing well, so I don't know. But I'm going to be rooting for her no matter what. I think she had one of the best bios. So I'm excited for her. Do you want to know who my dark horse pick was?
Yeah.
Cedric.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know why.
I thought about that, but then I was like, should I put my chips on the surgeon again, or not?
Well, I put my chips on the attorney, and we will see how it goes. I love that you picked Kevin. That's so funny to me.
I didn't even pay attention.
To what?
What does Kevin do currently? Oh,
Kevin's a finance manager.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. My winner pick is Kyle. Maddie's is Kevin. And that's our cast assessment. I'm so excited for this season. This seems like a fun group.
It does.
Since there's a lot of people who give positive energy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that happens together.
I hope we have some villains though.
Yeah. I feel like a couple will pop out.
Right.
Well, thank you all for watching. This was a fun episode. Maddie and I love doing the cast assessments. It's just a silly, fun time for us to just talk Survivor and be fun together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this double feature for this week. And get ready for Survivor 48 coverage.
Rah!
If you like this video, make sure to like... This is weird because I did the closing for the last episode. I'm doing closing again. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube that you're currently watching on. Follow us on our socials at Making Fire Pod on TikTok and Instagram. That's where we're at. That's where we're popping off. Make sure to join us. It's a fun time. And
Get enough people to follow us and we'll go live.
so true. If we get enough people to follow, I will go live on the Making Fire
I would
Instagram
love
account.
to go live.
Don't start with us,
Don't tell me
y'all.
with a good time.
Don't tell me with a good time. Yeah, this has been Maddie. I've loved spending the last 4.5 hours with you, and we are going to wrap up now. So thank you all for watching, and we will talk to you later this week, I guess. Later next week, yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Can't wait to see how this turns out. Smoochies.